Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we have an awesome time lapse and, not to mention, a fully automated melon and pumpkin farm. So I hope you guys are ready. A big part of a Minecrafter's day, of course, is farming. Lots and lots of farming. And today I think I want to maybe get some automated farms going if we can, to of course help feed our villagers. Maybe even touch on some bees today. I might get some of these to, of course, get some life in our world. But first of all, I've been kind of lacking on building, and that's something that a Minecrafter always does. Well, at least should, is build. So, how about I just go ahead and, you know, sneak that time lapse in. So, roll the time lapse. So I hope you enjoyed that time lapse as much as I enjoyed making it and building this thing. It is absolutely amazing, and I got some plans for this as well. I actually want to do more villager stuff, so we might have some villager stalls up here as well. And also down here, we might manage, I'm pretty sure I can put some kind of villager-esque stuff down here. If not, this might actually be the place where they go. So I did mention automating some farms. Now, one farm that I want to automate is this pumpkin farm, and I'm almost going to have it half pumpkin, half melon. And then I also want to definitely automate the sugarcane farm, and this actually needs to be probably the biggest and most efficient sugarcane farm that we can make. And usually sugarcane farms are pretty ugly, so I'm hoping that there is a way we can make them not as ugly, or at least try not to be. So to start off this automated farm, I'm gonna go ahead and just mine out all the holes here, And well, I actually kind of need the water to stay here, but we're not going to mind the water draining down like this. But I'm going to break down 2 blocks just like this. And we're actually going to create a little bit of an area down below after we put our pistons in, because I'm going to need a bunch of sticky pistons. So if you don't already have access to some slime, which, I mean, you should at this point if you're really going crazy in the mines like I have been, you should be fine. Now, you can see this hole right here. I actually need to branch this out over here as well, because pumpkins do spawn over here, and we're going to create a pretty simple farm. And this right here is just going to use, I mean, this is something you could probably do in vanilla, minus the fact that you're probably going to have trouble collecting the items. But we're going to collect the items in a very different manner than you would. We're actually going to be using these vacuum hoppers, which are really, really nice. And they can also collect experience from what I've seen. So we might experiment later on with a simple way of setting up an actual regular mob farm with some cursed dirt. That's going to be fun. So, and just like that, 40 sticky pistons is actually the exact number we are going to need. And I'm just going to place them all just like so. And then once we get this done, we can place dirt on top of that. And then we need to work on the bottom area, which actually is going to be probably the easiest part of this whole setup. Once all my pistons are in place, I'm going to cover all this with some dirt. And these areas are going to be where our melon/pumpkins will eventually end up. So as far as an idea on how to automate this, I think I have a very simple idea that is going to use day and night cycles. So if we use a daylight sensor, we should be able to just place a daylight sensor like right here. And this daylight sensor is going to go onto a lamp, right? And so if we place the lamp there, of course we have a piston here. Let me actually get back behind this. So yeah, if we place a daylight sensor, you'll see that that will go there. I might actually need to move this back just a little bit, so that way it doesn't interfere with my pistons, because I feel like that's probably going to be an issue. So let's try this. All right. So, redstone lamp. This will actually kind of, it being higher will work just as fine. Let's go down here and place an observer on the bottom. And is it facing there? I think I have to place it like standing directly underneath. Observers are a little weird on how they work. Okay, so you can see it's now observing this block. And if I was to place redstone down here, it would transfer a redstone signal, but knowing how this block works, redstone signals don't work exactly the way you think they will. So what I might also end up... Yeah, I'm actually going to drop this down. Now that I think about it, it's going to make it look a little bit nicer if I do that. Otherwise, I'm just going to have a big redstone mess on my hands. So, place it right here. It will still probably light the area up. We're going to come down here. We're going to place our observer on the bottom, or actually on the side, because that's going to work way better. Right? Yeah, on the side of this. Pop in here. There we go. It's placed on the side, and you can see that it is actually facing this. So when this redstone lamp gets a light update, this observer will then get a pulse update, and it will pulse. Now we need to capture that pulse with a redstone repeater and basically extend that pulse a little bit longer than it would if we didn't have this. The pulse would usually be pretty fast. You can see now the pulse was completely fast enough to get any redstone thing to work, like these pistons, for example. So now that we have this, let's go ahead and create a path that is going to let us drop the redstone signal kind of down and go underneath our pistons. So to get this redstone down, we are going to need to do a few things. This observer is going to send a redstone signal to a lamp, and then from this lamp, it's actually going to go into another observer. Right, observer inception. This does pose a problem though, but we should be able to fix it. This is going to cause the pulse to tick twice, because there's going to be an on state and an off state. You can see when this flicks, it's an on state and off state, flickering this twice. Now, it might seem like a big problem, but it's actually not. We're going to fix that with just a simple repeater, turning this all the way down to its max, and then you're going to see now we just get a solid state anytime a change is made, whether that is a redstone signal or not. So this is basically anytime it's just a toggle switch, basically. And then this right here just changes up the it just changes up and gives a nice little pulse. So very, very nice. Very easy to get the redstone signal down here. And now we're at the perfect height to go after all these. I gotta pretty much find where all of them are at. And then I'm just gonna place down some redstone here and probably use lamps, because I think lamps will, like, we can just ignite the lamps. You know what? We're gonna have to see. That might actually pose a little bit another problem, getting redstone to this. We could use a detector rails maybe, and carts. I don't know. You guys hear that? Yeah, we need to kind of solve this problem. Right here is a lasso that has a pillager already in it. Oh man, let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab some cactus. I was trying to think of a good way to solve this problem. Honestly, I think just a single piece of cactus, some sand, and I mean just a hole will probably be a great way to get rid of these guys. I mean, seriously. By the way, I'm trying to come up with I'm trying to set up the pulse extender, because the setup that I was originally going to do for some reason isn't working the way I thought it was going to work, and I think it's because the pulse just isn't long enough for the pistons to retract. So what happens is the pistons will end up in a permanently stuck up state, and of course that's nothing that I want to have. All right, so let's set up our chamber here for taking care of these guys. And why not place it like right here where we already have a trap door? So right down here, I'll set up a little area just like this with the holes in the side. Sand right here. Hopefully that guy doesn't decide to just jump in. Let's build ourselves back up. Break the blocks that are down there. Then place the cactus. And then, I mean, place this guy. And then close the door and forget they ever existed. Because, yeah, we have a nice little torture. Oh, no. I just Oh, yeah. That was a banner guy, wasn't it? Good thing this isn't considered a village, but that over there is. What we can do, though, to fix this is just drink some milk. Or activate a raid. I mean, that's also a thing. So this video also turned into a raid video. I should probably sleep, since doing this at night, it's probably not going to be a good idea. But I think we can handle a raid, no problem. So if we're going to be taking on a raid, we do need a bell, because this bell is going to show us where they're coming from, like where they're at. It would probably also do us well to also get some villagers up. That'd probably be a good idea, wouldn't it? Or not some villagers, some iron golems. Yeah. There's also some bad guys that can potentially break blocks. So now we're on the second tier, second level. And I think they spawn relative to like where you're at. I don't know. So once they spawn again, we'll wait a little bit and then we'll ring this bell and hopefully get an idea of where they're located at. But yeah, and also I think that it's directional. We take care of this guy, and this won't be bad. Well, I guess we'll get some. Oh, he picked that up. Well, we should get some totems of undying. Oh yeah, these guys are gonna be super easy to take on. So already we got the big bad guy. I don't know if you can see him over there. That thing is definitely the thing I want to kill as soon as I can, because it's a problem. Yeah. Wow, that doesn't even do any damage. This armor is ridiculous. This armor's crazy. Crazy good. We're like completely invincible. Like that is quite ridiculous. Also, like, we need to make sure these guys stay safe. Let's close that door. Don't want anybody bothering them in there. So I believe this is the last part of the raid. How many times, leave that down in the comments below, how many times have you accidentally started a raid when you really didn't want one to happen yet? I mean, I'm sure that happened to, I'm sure this happened to several of you guys, right? It had to have been. Oh yeah. By the way, the last, it said this was the one remaining. So I'm assuming that's what this was. Dude, look at that. These guys, oh, they just now started to do a little bit of damage. By the way, where is the evokers? If this is the last... If this is it, where's the evokers at? Because I don't see them. Oh, I completely read this wrong. And this is where the evoker's at. Yeah. These guys... Oh, that was it. Raid victory. So we should actually have villagers that are much happier and want to trade with us now. At least the ones that are in our place. Get out of here. Look at those guys. All right, it says raid victory. Is that bar gonna go away? Oh, I hope it goes away. With this going on, it's actually a pretty good time to buy some mending. Look at that, 23 from 30. That's 10. That's actually, well, 9 emeralds less than normal. That's not bad. That's not bad. For some reason, these emeralds and these emeralds have different. It's like it has a meta tag hooked to it. I wonder if emerald fragments can be a combined back together. No, apparently they can't. Now that all those shenanigans are over, we can actually go ahead and get this done. So my plan was to take this and send it out here, but it was causing some problems. So I'm actually going to do it this way: send a pulse and then just use a regular pulse extender to complete this. So let's go ahead and set up a pulse extender. It's very simple. It's just like this. And then once this receives a signal, this right here is what's going to last a bit longer. Now, I don't know if I need a repeater. I might actually need another repeater right here just to make sure it's a strong signal that's going out. And we'll see. We'll see. Let's try this lever. And make sure the redstone's closed in. So there we go. That should send a pulse. And nothing. Interesting. My pistons are not reacting the way I'd want them to. Okay, so they end up in this stuck state, and I don't understand why. And let me try a lamp. And I want to see if maybe a lamp will cause this, instead of, like, this redstone actually needs to be right here, doesn't it? And then when the redstone signal falls off, it should unpistify, right? Isn't that how this works? Redstone signal on, right? Or is it this lever that's causing the problem? I would hate that to be the case. All right, let's just, yeah, for example, piston on, powered, unpowered, it comes off. So, let me break this block so there's nothing connected. And these aren't even powering on. Right here. This is the only one that seems to be powering on for some reason. So I think I have a plan for this. I'm probably making this way more complicated than it should be, but that's the fun of doing it without kind of looking up a way to do it, is coming up with the idea. And for this, I think I'm going to use rail carts and detectors, so I kind of know what those do. So if I place a detector here, a detector rail, and then once a cart goes over it, that piston's extended because this rail is now powering that block. I don't know why our other method wasn't working, even though it should have. This definitely will work. So when they go over, it'll also create this kind of like wave effect as well. So long as I can get it to work the way I want it to. I totally have the resources for it. We just need to get this implemented and then get a way to stop the cart, which is not too hard to do. We just use a regular activation rail on a slope, and that should be enough to get this going. So I'm now on the last row, and perfect. Look at this. I'm just rotating back and forth. You want to make sure you place these in line, because you go to place them like individually and then place the other rails, you could end up with like a giant mess, and you just don't want to deal with that. So now that we've ended with this powered rail right here, what we want to do is we just want to butt that up to a block, so that way it goes back, because I don't think I want this repeating. I just want this to land, I want it to come back to this block right here. So this is sort of the setup, and there's really only one way to test this. I mean, it's just to get a rail in here, right? And to hope this works. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to flip this lever. Let's just assume this is changing the state. And something stopped our cart. Oh, that's right, because these are not powered. So if these aren't powered, these of course aren't going to do anything. So let's go ahead and get them powered. All we need is just what? Redstone blocks. I think we could probably cut down on the amount of redstone we're actually using here. Let's go ahead and do that. And for this, I'm going to do that. And that should be totally enough rails for this. Right? Enough powered rails. Did I throw my powered rails away? Of course I did. Powered rail here. Powered rail here. Regular rail. Okay. This rail is going to be powered by this block. So I'm not worried about that. Let's try this again. Let's get our cart. Get it ready to go. All the other rails should power themselves. So the cart will go. And for some reason stop up there. Oh, that's right, because it actually is a part of, it's not actually powered either. So really, what do I need? I need a detector rail, I think, right here. That will just make sure to keep everything going. And once that hits that detector rail, it should keep the power long enough to send it along. All right, let's try this again. All this troubleshooting. Here it goes. Oh, yeah. That's really satisfying, actually. And does it go back? That's the question. Oh, it does. Okay. It's coming back, and it should do this twice a Minecraft day. And I think that's going to be plenty to get all of these melons and stuff harvested. This block will not be normally permanently lit like this. Just consider this because this lever's here. And because this lever's here, this, yeah, it's a weird thing, but that's how it works. And then it's just going to wait until it gets another pulse. I mean, that's pretty simple. And yeah, this is how this redstone's going to work. I know all this work for just a melon farm. Now I just need to split this melon farm up into pumpkins and melons. And then we should be good. So I went ahead and threw my growth ring on after placing all this, and basically I can stand here and the stalks will grow pretty quick just with me standing here. Now, I want to go ahead and get the filter set up so that way we can auto collect the items and pick them up right about here. I think that's going to be the perfect place for them. So I do have another item puller. We are going to use a vacuum hopper, and I guess we can place the vacuum hopper right here. Should be fine. Look at that, we've already got a melon growing. So the vacuum hopper is going to collect items, and then I want to pull those items out, and that's where they're going to connect down here to this, and then that is going to route items back up, and they can't go here, can they? We're going to route them to these blocks right here, and I think that's going to be completely fair. That's going to be perfect. So this already collected the dirt, by the way. And like I said, it's got an experience thing here. So you could actually, I guess, send items into this to have the experience automatically converted into bottled experience, which is kind of a good way of handling that. But down here is going to be where it's a little bit complicated. I need to move the pipes up here then, if that's the case. And of course, we'll cover this with dirt. But the pipes just need to go this way. So, pipe here. That is going to split the items into 2 separate containers. And then we'll go ahead and set up those containers. So here they are. One is going to get melons, and one is going to get pumpkins. So when melons are broke, they actually turn into slices. Just like that. I don't know if this actually needs a hopper or not. If it does, I'm gonna place a hopper, yeah, because it doesn't look like it's gonna automatically send, even though this should just pull out of this inventory. At least you would hope so. But it actually might not. Maybe we need to specify what's in each of these. And then once we get like one of them, will it pull out? It doesn't seem like it will. So let's try a hopper maybe. So that 100% works. It just needed to add the hopper there and things look a lot better. Now, I could bring this down lower, but it's actually going to interfere. So I'm going to leave it just like it is and use trapdoors to make it look a little bit better. Seems like that's a running theme, right? We're using trapdoors to just make things look a lot better. And I mean, they really do a good job. We only need to really place a trapdoor on this side though, because this is actually going to be pushed up with pistons. So a little bit of dirt to cover these up. And just like that, place a trapdoor right on here. And a piece of dirt right here. And that'll eventually turn into grass. And we have ourselves a little bit of an automation setup going. All we got to do now is place our daylight sensor right here and then click it. So that way it only like sends a signal when it's the appropriate time. And what it should do is it should activate this lamp with the redstone signal and then cause the whole thing to go off like this. And I hope I didn't break anything because it looks like I potentially did for this not to be pulsing like that. Yeah, I must have broke something. Let me see if I can fix it. Yeah, goofy me. I just placed a block right here, which like broke my redstone wiring. That was it. That was the only thing that caused. So to do this, technically that just sent a signal. And you're gonna see all the blocks do their thing. Look at that. Is that not a fancy farm? That's a pretty fancy farm. And then right here, I'm going to click this once, so that way it only activates during nighttime. I mean, technically it's going to activate 2 times because it's going to stay lit during night, and then it's going to basically cause this to activate 2 different times. So either way, it's not really going to matter too much whether we have that set or not, in my opinion. I don't think so anyways. All right, this is a pumpkin stem, so this needs to be a melon stem. I totally made that mistake. Yeah, and that should allow this to pretty much grow up and should give us a reasonable amount. The only other way to do this a little bit better maybe would be to pretty much detect if there's blocks here. And if there's not blocks, then like if you just basically use this same observer to detect a block. But then you got to worry about randomness and all kinds of stuff. And this just kind of sets a natural flow to everything. So we give it enough time to grow, really. Well, today I'm going to give huge thanks for being a Patreon to Aiden. Thank you so much, Aiden, for being a Patreon. And by the way, if you guys are interested in being a Patreon yourself, of course, you can always find that linked down in the description below. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys, by the way, all for the support who have become Patreons recently, because it really does mean a lot. It really does. And wow, this right here. I couldn't do this without you guys. I really couldn't. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, of course, don't forget to click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And also give this video the biggest thumbs up you've ever given it. Try, let's see if we can hit, let's see, we're on a number. Let's see if we hit 2,000 likes on this video. I would really appreciate it if we could do that. Guys, I hope to see you in the next one. You guys know how it goes. As always, thanks for watching.